We are coming to you from the ICAO headquarters in Montreal, where is taking place the Montreal Thematic meeting on metropolitan areas. This is one of 11 preparatory conferences in the planning of Habitat 3, that is the third United Nations Conference on Housing and Sustainable Urban Development, to be held next year in Quito. And I'm in the company of Dr. Joan Clos. As you know, he is Secretary General of the third UN Habitat Conference. Dr. Clos, welcome to Montreal.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Tell me, why this focus on metropolitan areas, and why specifically Montreal?
Well, metropolitan areas because it's becoming a reality of urbanization, especially in big cities where the rapid increase of urbanization is expanding the limits of cities, and most of them they are going further than their original municipal boundaries, and they are becoming de facto metropolis. And then the question is that if the governments and the governance of these areas are really able to follow the reality, or if they cannot cope with the change, and then they keep maintaining the old boundaries of the local authorities, introducing some kind of fragmented management of the cities, which is what is happening in quite a number of places in the world.
So what
Montreal, because Montreal, I think it has gone through a process of renewal of its metropolitan governance system. It's a booming city. It's a metropolitan reality. It's this duality between a central city of around 2 million people, and then a metropolitan area that it's something like 5 million people, and 82 former
municipalities, and all very different amongst
yes,
themselves.
that is a very good example. And then on top of that, we have had the generous offer of the mayor and the head of the metropolitan area.
From your point of view, now you've been involved with metropolises, you've been involved with urbanization, with problems of big cities. What are the major challenges for metropolitan areas?
I would say that there are two different challenges. For the developed world, where the political boundaries are very quite established and they have a long tradition, and there's a huge resistance in order to adapt to the new realities. The challenge is precisely this one, breaking the tradition. But in the developing world is another difference, because there in the developing world what is happening is that in general the local authorities are weak in terms of their capacity to intervene, and then the central government has a very important role on the outcomes of urbanization, and in some places now they are thinking on establishing metropolitan areas, or to increase the power of local authorities. And then the tempo is very different. In fact, it's surprising how different it is. And it's important because I think that here there's a lot of things that can be shared, can be commented, can be thought and studied, in order to avoid some of the traditional mistakes and try to learn as fast as possible from history, and do the things as better as possible.
What do you hope to come away with from Montreal, from this conference, to take to your Habitat?
I would like a consistent and a well-reasoned declaration about the role of urbanization of metropolitanization in the modern urban model, in order to help governments, country governments, national governments, and local governments to accelerate their capacity to choose of feasible alternatives. I think that, as I have explained, there's a lot of experiences, and we can learn a lot of what has been working and what doesn't work.
Best practices.
And in that sense, I think that we should have at least the modesty and the courage at the same time to learn from past experiences.
Excellent. Thank you for this, Dr. Clos, and
Thank
a
you.
very good conference to you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.